All right, pop on here. Oh, look at that. Oh, did you get an elevator installed in your house? What's going on?
Installed an elevator. Just, it's a little slow. I got to work on souping it up a bit, but I got to watch the motion sickness.
Now I know where all the podcast revenue is going. Okay. All right. Now I figured it out because it's not going in my bank account. All right. Okay. Oh, how we doing, man?
There's soon to be a sponsor. They won't be named yet.
Oh, okay. All right. We're working on it.
But it's
Gotcha.
Acme.
You might be the one falling out of the sky. All right. I got to watch out for that stuff. Oh, how you doing, buddy? You staying warm?
Trying to.
Yeah.
It was how about you guys out there?
Dude, it is frigid cold. Yeah. Now you're finding all the little creaks and cracks and all the different things. I'm like, figured out my daughter's bathroom window was like, they didn't have it sealed. Like they didn't have the lock on. And so the top part was down a little bit. The bottom part wasn't down all the way. I'm like, why is it so cold when I go by the room? And I'm like, I go in, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So yeah, all those little things, but man, it got cold fast around here. Yeah.
Local brew pub down the street. They have the owner is in a band. It's supposed to be a really good band. I was going to go see them, and I had to go pick up. We partially decorated for Christmas before Thanksgiving. Went to get the rest of the stuff, and just going to the storage, throwing stuff in the truck and unloading it. I'm like, I think I'm not walking down the street tonight. I just called it quits. But it's funny, like this weather and the cold. The other night we went to see the lights, and I come back. Elwood City has lights in the parking. It's just a donation. It's nice little setup. Mm-hmm. And we came back, and I'm like, I'm ready for bed. And my wife's like, we didn't even eat dinner yet. I'm like, yeah, but it's late. She goes, it's not even 6:30. I'm like, oh,
I know. Yeah, I got those nights, and yeah. We got, Thanksgiving, drove up, Danville, so about 2-hour drive, not too bad, drove back. Registration was out. We won't talk about Verno getting pulled over. My daughters are all like, videotaping it, and got a warning. It's all good. Got it taken care of. We're good. And, but yeah, just that whole deal. And then, we had, you go through Friday cold, but, loving the fireplace, fires in there almost every day, just kind of chilling, And the funny thing is, cause like, you're not in the rest of the house, so you're like nice and warm and feeling great. Then you like leave. We leave our family room, and it's like, ooh, you hit like the kitchen. You're like, oh man, it's like Alaska in here. So that throws everything off in the whole house. But yeah, loving that. And then Saturday, I took my daughters, my oldest fiance, and then his dad. We met up in State College for Penn State versus Maryland. And let me tell you, the amount of thermal, the amount of extra layers was not enough. The amount of warmers was not enough. I think it was about 23, 22 when we decided to go just the beginning of the fourth quarter. It started flurrying pretty good. I wouldn't call it snow, but it was flurrying. The wind was whipping. Yeah. And I tell you, my daughters hung in there, man. They were fighting tough. They were not griping and complaining. They were excited to be there. And it's first ever, like, between playing ball, coaching football, I've not been to a Penn State game kind of a deal. So this was the first time I was even going, and then the first time they were there. And so with all that, but yeah, they toughed it out. But let me tell you, the hip flexors, I got up and you're going down ramp after ramp after ramp. And it was like, it was hurting. I was like, about an hour into the drive home was when I finally started being able to feel and make sure everything was there. So, hey, pal, I got a beard built for cold, but dude, sitting in stands for 4 or 5 hours, I'm not built for that.
Youngsters.
Yeah. And I tell you, the older I get, man, the more it affects me. I hate to say it, but the grays aren't fake. The older I get, the cold. It's just wild. How about you?
We went to a concert Friday night. Went to see this the girl in red. She opened up for Taylor Swift over the summer. My daughter wanted to go see her, so we got tickets. One of her friends had tickets. It was general admissions, standing room where the seats were. So I said, I'll drive down. We got out of town just in time Friday. because about a half hour after we left early, and I said, we're not going to eat downtown Pittsburgh. That was going to be the game plan, but it was too cold, and I'm like, I don't feel like carrying my jacket around, standing room only, because I don't know how hot it was going to be in the venue.
Sure.
So I'm like, I'll probably just wear a sweatshirt. I don't want to walk around Pittsburgh in teens at night. I said, it's going to be too cold. So we just went to Cranberry and started getting texts from my wife. She's like, the road's here. They're closing them. There's all kinds of accidents. Where are you guys at? And it was weird. Like, Cranberry's 20 minutes from my house, and the snow just stayed right above us. So we had nothing. It was nice. But we hit the bookstore, hung out there for a bit. Then we went down to the concert. I left my coat in the car and wearing a hoodie and jeans. And I'm like, okay, there's the entrance. I had a close spot by the entrance, walk, express pass only, right around the corner is the main entrance. And the line just kept going. I walked around another corner, down another street, around another. I'm like, I could have just walked a short distance. And we stood outside for a while. Then it was like the compression. The line wasn't moving yet because they don't open a door till it was like 7, and it's a firm 7. They don't negotiate at 6:59.
Okay.
People like move a little bit, huddle up closer, and ran into a bunch of students that were down there for the concert. So I guess I made the Instagram and Snap stories as they saw the old man at the concert. Well, it was a good show. Gigi Perez opened up, and then the Girl in Red. So it was a good show. I've never listened to either of them before. Well, Girl in Red, when we bought the tickets, I started listening a little bit just because I figure I should know some of the songs. But both acts were really good. So that was about it. That and decorating over. Good Thanksgiving. I hope yours was good. It sounds like it was.
Yeah. Not bad. The treats, and the food, and the whole deal, and time with family is always good. So yeah, not too shabby at all. And we did, got some decorating done, kind of a deal. And the joke with my daughters, my youngest is in the process of, getting ready to go and do the final driving test. And I jokingly was like, when we're in the car, don't play a lot of music when she's driving anyway, because you're talking stuff. And but she tried putting on Christmas music the one day, and I shut it off, and she was like upset at me. And I was like, until I eat the bird, there is no Christmas music. So on the drive home, I was shocked that it wasn't until we were like a mile from the house. I was like, she hasn't asked for Christmas music. So I quick put it on Spotify. And she was like, oh. And then my students today, leading up to, I told them that story. And when they would ask for me to play Christmas music in the classroom, I was like, nope, I'm not going to play Christmas music until let's respect the holiday. It's happening. I go to, if you want to hear Christmas music, go to Target. Back then, go to the mall, but now you say go to Target, go to Kohl's, go to Walmart. So today, when they came in my homeroom, I had my Christmas lights. Like, I just had that strung along the top, and had Christmas music play, and they were just like, oh man, so they're all fired up. So, but I'm like, we wait until then. And I said, the month of December, then I'll put the lights on, and I'll have those on every day. And I said, and they're like, well, when Christmas is over, do you stop it? I said, no, because then it becomes very cheap versions of heating my room up a little bit more, because, the rooms are what they are. And sometimes you need a little extra, Dollar General Christmas light heat going along your room to help out. So yeah, that always makes it interesting. But yeah,
you don't use LEDs. That's
right. Yeah. And for anybody who's listening to this, to our podcast outside of Pennsylvania, if you watch you don't have to tell me twice, go to Target. And if you happen to have watched the Bills versus the 49ers football game, let's not even talk about, we'll fast forward from the cold Dolphins game. Let's just go to the Bills game. And you got that glimpse of like the snow that, northwestern tip of Pennsylvania got Erie. I think they were calling for 20 inches, and I think it was just shy of 3 feet. And so it's kind of crazy. Looks like we're going to we're going to talk to Target about having a podcast corner, and we'll have to set up in Target because Megan and Brendan will be there all fired up. And filming live from Target. Let's get them on as sponsors. But yeah, so if you happen to watch that game, you got that opportunity to see a I love seeing snow games like that. You know, they did the overlay of the lines, so the fake CGI line, so everybody could see it. And then in all the TV timeouts, I love watching the guys going across with the shovels just to clear the 5-yard lines and stuff. Like, yeah, wild stuff.
There was a game way back in the day where, and I can't remember who was playing. I want to say it was Pittsburgh, but I don't think, where they were going to kick a field goal or something like right at the end of the game, and someone went out with a little plow.
I think it was the Cowboys. Yeah.
The Cowboys?
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I can't remember, but I remember they did that, and guys, like, it's my team.
Well, I can confirm a Bloomsburg University versus East Stroudsburg University mud bowl because of the ice sheet and snow that was all over the field. There were certain players on a timeout that were kicking and etching through the ice to make a spot for a field goal to win the game. And said field goal did occur and said win did happen. So I'm pretty sure it's highly illegal, but we had the huddle circled around it. Everybody was like kicking in the middle, like breaking up the ice to be able to clear it off. It was like one of those deals where like the huddle just moved to hide the spots we were kind of clearing off.
Yeah. You got to stamp your feet to stay warm. I mean, that movement.
Yeah. You know, hey, it's all good. Like, unless the yellow goes flying, it's legal, right? Well, crazy, man. Listen, dude, November flew and we're in December. Yeah, it's kind of insane. And I don't know. I guess my day's thrown off. Like today, when the kids came in my classroom and said, "Hey, happy Monday, Tuesday," because they're like, "It's not Monday, Tuesday." I said, "Well, is it your first day of school this week?" "Yeah, well, that's a Monday, but it's really a Tuesday." So I don't know, Dom. It's a Tuesday. What Tuesday of the month is it?
It's, I think, the first Tuesday of the month.
First Tuesday.
My calendar, my internal calendar is all cattywampus.
It's crazy, but I think it's time for
the PAECT Pod.
Let's roll it. Welcome to the PAECT Pod, a show for educators by educators. PAECT is 100% volunteer-run organization that focuses on ed tech integrations in the classroom in Pennsylvania
and beyond.
All right, my name is Eric Vernon. I'm the president of PAECT, and with me today is always my co-host,
Dom Salvucci, and I'm the vice president of PAECT.
And today we are on episode number 68, Chilling with Tech. So we're going to talk a little bit about technology, things that we were doing, whether it be on the holiday break or things that we're doing when it's just too stinking cold outside or when we're trying to look very busy with technology. So therefore shoveling and the honeydew list gets to be pushed off a little bit and we're not having to go out and do the work, right?
Definitely. I was semi unplugged over break. I kept, because we have the state board meeting coming up, so I had some stuff to do for that, some odds and ends, and I kept, my phone would ding, and if a student emailed that student needed something, I could check it. Fortunately, I didn't have any of those, so it was just, give a quick glance and then move on. I just pretty much was technology free. I did some reading on the Kindle. That's about as deep as I got into technology over break.
Gotcha. Yeah, and actually, I took some time to write up a little note to send out to our membership with our updates. And we had a little issue with the website, so it kind of got delayed, so it didn't come out till I think Thanksgiving Day. But really, that emphasis on unplugging, plugging back into family time or just time by yourself, because there's just so much around you. It could be a fire hose at times. With every little update and every little change, things go on like right now my phone's like insane with I thought I had all my notifications all shut off, Carrie, what do I want to hear, what do I not? And now it's like something happened and I'm I get out of school, my classroom's a tech or cell phone, void zone. And once I hit the one main hallway, boof, it starts blowing up with bzz, 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 bzz. I'm like, what is going on? And then I look, it's 60 different notifications. And I'm like, hey, I gotta literally sit down and figure this out and pull it out. But yeah, it said it's important for us to be able to do that. They talk about how many decisions that an educator makes in a day, let alone in their first hour. And there's different research on you have a finite amount of decisions that you're able to like clearly process in a day. I forget what the numbers are. And, but we definitely exceed that like tenfold. It's just, there's so much.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's tough to do, but it's important for us to do that.
Yeah. And just, spent time with the family, then, they would do stuff. I just kind of chilled out. Like I said, I kicked back, read a bit, curled up with the puppy. We had a fire going down in the family room a couple days. We don't take Charlie down in the family room too often, so she gets inquisitive and she wants to run around and check things out. It's not as relaxing as I'd hoped. So kept her upstairs a couple days just to kick back, relax, read, which I've been put on the Kindle plan with reading because my library is overflowing. And so I was told ebooks, but I'll be very truthful. There's times where, an ebook, I'm good with the Kindle Paperwhite. Just sit there and read at night. Doesn't bother my eyes. But there's times where I just need that physical book, like paper, and go, just be unplugged. And this was one of those weekends.
Nice. So, yeah. There's times where just having that paper copy book is really nice. Like I said, now I was technically unplugged at the football game because the downside of having, said folding screen is when you hit that 20-degree mark, it gets very brittle. So I'm like, the last thing I want to do is to like pull this out, open it up, and have the thing crack. So it was like tucked next to me in my vest, trying to keep it as warm as possible. So the cold kind of forced me to be off of tech just for that game.
But so you'd have been covered because I saw a Verizon commercial. Any phone, any condition, take it in, and it will give you an iPhone 16.
Yeah, I know. Listen, everybody wants to downgrade me for free, brother. But listen, I'm not ready to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to talk iPhone in a little tech note. I got a little thing for you. I got to make sure, be kind. So, yeah, but, the importance of, like, just taking that time to kind of, just control your streams, I guess we'll call it, right, as we're reading, just doing a lot of study on Gen Z and the fact that a lot of the things that they'll take in, they'll curate their feeds and whether they pay attention to this or that. We got to do that sometimes as adults because it can be overpowering.
Yeah. And I laugh because, I do that with sports where like if the Steelers have a good week, I'll sit and I'll watch ESPN and I'll catch like with the comments and I'll read the paper. They have a bad week, like you were talking about, Miami didn't do so well. The Thursday before that, Pittsburgh didn't do so well with Cleveland in the snow. Yeah, and it was like, I didn't listen to talk radio, didn't read the newspaper for a bit. I'm like, I don't want to deal with anything with football. I'm just not in the mood for, mood for that. So just curate the stream and stay away from that for a bit. Calm down, see what's going on. Move on to something different. Yeah,
and so I think the flow tonight is going to be more conversational, not like segmented kind of a deal. So kind of talking about that, like I'm going to kind of jump into one of the first things I was talking about as far as chilling with tech. One of the big things right now is Blue Sky. And I jokingly tell people that PAECT was ahead of the curve. We were all getting in there when it was invite only. We pushed it out to our KTI, our new members, to our alumni, to our family. And that's a spot where you can go now, and they do have kind of their curated feeds and the things that they're doing. And it's pretty good. I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. Give me a second. I want to switch my screens. Make sure I'm sharing the right one. And just, it's kind of like back in the day when, people remember social media off the bat where it was like, you said it, and then like say goodnight, and then the next morning you pull up and it's like 3 or 4 people posted and you could say good morning and you know where you're at. But yeah, just the Blue Sky setup, it's definitely a little bit more of a cleaner filter right now. You can curate your streams. EduSky is a big push. Educators on Blue Sky. And you can add your streams up top, and then we have one for Keystones, KTI, which there's not much posted there. And then PACT, I've been posting some things here, so right now in our PACTs, some stuff that we got going on. So, there's just, there's a lot of really good people, a lot of really good educators that have popped over. And so you want to talk about that whole concept of, kind of curating your feed and picking what I am and what I'm not listening to. Like, that's one way to do it too. Just be selective with your social media stream, that you're spending time with. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Twitter first came out, that was as a technology coach for CFF for the district, that was the thing. Like, a lot of schools blocked each other's emails if it didn't have that, .k12.pa.us. You couldn't email people. So we would go to Twitter, and then if it was more than 144 character fix, it would just be like Skype me, and then we do a quick, Skype, because that wasn't, districts didn't know to block it yet.
Right.
Because they were both real new. So Twitter wasn't blocked, Skype wasn't blocked. And that's how we communicated across the state, because email wasn't working.
True.
And
you were safe because that was before Microsoft owned it. So you're good. All right, your Skype used before Microsoft bought it.
That was back whenever I was a Microsoft guy.
Oh, that's true.
Because they wouldn't upgrade me to Macs. It took a while.
Yeah. All that management in the back end. Yeah.
Well, because that was my classroom. I didn't get a CFF classroom set of computers because I was half-day tech coach, and they didn't want my sub running the computers. They gave me iPod Touches, and I piloted those as a computer platform. So I need, instead of me doing 30 iPod Touch upgrades by hand, can I have a computer? And they finally got me the little white MacBooks.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't even in air. They were just the little white school MacBooks. I had one of those.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, hey, we were going to talk about some things, chilling with tech. What do you got? So I talked about Blue Sky. What do you got?
Well, let me grab my stuff before, like when we were talking a while ago about Gen Z.
Yeah.
And I did some reading, and I came up with, they were talking about Substack. So I'm not logged in here, but I went in and I did sign in. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. Let me grab here because so I logged in with Google. I can't do it on this, but I went in, and Substack's a neat way. There's a lot of free content. Let me see if I can pull this in. And
yeah, let's
here we jump off of this.
Yeah.
So let me go here and I'll pull that up. But yeah, like there's a lot of good articles. You go in, and
here, while you're doing that, I'm going to go. If I'm going in, I just clicked on, I went to substack.com. I just went here. I just start reading. Dom's going to give us more specifics, but diving into your interests, you can kind of click the things that you're into. Oh, maybe technology, sports. Let's see, science. And we'll go education. All right, here we go. Continue. And then they'll give you writers you may like, some things that you might, be interested in. You can kind of go down the list. All right. And then you would sign in with your email address and kind of jump from there. So I'll jump out, Dom, let you jump in. Go.
Oh, okay. Give me a second because there. Okay. I see what you were doing. Let me pull that back up. So dive in with your interests. You can pick culture, technology, design, health and wellness, philosophy. So it's not just technology. It's a wide range of different things that you like. So you pick a bunch that you like: humor, history, whatever you like. And on my screen, it's showing the stop sharing. Hit continue. And it gives you different writers. Some of them are fee. A lot is free. So they do have a fee level, but you could also contribute and write on your own. So pick 7 that you want to subscribe to it, continue, and you move through the process. And you get daily or weekly. You can go through and get updates. Right now I'm on daily, which I'm going to scale back because it's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But I went through and I give you some good articles because, there's Flipboard, there's Feedly. You've talked about Feedly. All these different aggregators that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
This is just another one, but you could also contribute to and write. I haven't started contributing yet because I'm still trying to be a little more proactive with my original blog. So I haven't really started pushing things out in Substack. But it's a little two-way avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have caught on with it. I know, listening to some of the blogs and some of the sports shows and some of the writers that have moved off from newspapers, they have their own feeds in Substack, and that's how they've monetized. Obviously, I would not be at that level, but
right.
It's a neat little tool. So you have all these different things you can look up. Dan Harris, who's into used to be with ABC, then he's formed 10% Happier, and he's into mental health, big with mental health, the Free Press I've heard of. So a bunch of different articles and things you can scroll through and read. So it's a neat little aggregator, something different because I have the free Apple News. There a lot of the newspapers and such have certain pages free, so much free, and try and read those. But it's just something, it's not necessarily constantly like news. It's other topics and such, and it's a little break from Feedly and some of the other ones, Flipboard.
Yeah. I've actually looked at it. It's like, like back in the day, it was the blogs, and this is kind of like the mobile blog that everybody's, jumping to. And then that ability to kind of get different readers and work on making a profit off it kind of a deal or just a little side gig. So I've often looked at that because there was a thing for Twitter. It was called Nuzzle. And I missed the fact that they killed that off because that was just like you were able to pull stuff from Twitter and put it onto this newsletter. That newsletter would get kicked out. I had like 20, 25 people that kind of followed it every week. I would send something out, pull in some different things that I thought were interesting. And there was no monetary anything involved with that, but just an easy way to share stuff out, Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you have several of the news aggregators, you can tailor them. Like, okay, I'm going to use this one for work. I'm going to use this one for sports. I'm going to use this one for family or, hobbies. So you're not crowding it's another way to focus your streams. So I'm not getting like 50 million things in one site. It's okay. This is what I'm going to look for this. I'm going to use this tool for this, I don't say job, but this task.
Yeah.
So you can kind of streamline and focus things. Kind of keep the noise down, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I'm laughing because when you're like, let's set a stream up for family. I'm like, okay, let's be present with the family, right? It's still tough though, but share some different things out. But
because my daughter's younger, so trying to when she was talking about she'll talk about some of the music she likes, and I'm like, I've never heard of them. Or she'll talk to you about certain things, or the kids at school talk about certain things. So it's that that pop culture because the 80s were my wheelhouse. My daughter's friend, it was hilarious because she's sitting there and she started quoting like The Cure, and she quoted Echo and the Bunnymen. I'm like, where have you heard this? She's like, my dad loves this music. I'm like, your dad's a cool guy. I've never met him, but that's this is my wheelhouse of music. And she quoting Morrissey. I'm like,
raising them right.
Yeah, I said I dig this. Well, when Ariana was little, we watched Megamind, and she was like into the music. It was like George Thorogood, AC/DC.
Yeah.
So I burned a CD and we put it in the truck, and she's like, "Play Megamind," and I'm sure. Crank up George Thorogood, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. Fran would just shake her head. I'm like, she put her foot down when Ariana was like, "Daddy, turn it up." let's make our ears bleed. And I'm like, yeah, I got the what? I'm like, oh, that's just the saying. We're not really going to do that.
That's funny. That's good stuff. Keep it honest. Keep it honest. I like that. That's good. All right. Hey, so here's the other one. Speaking of your iPhone and Microsoft bashing, public service announcement.
I was not bashing Microsoft.
Yet. Public service announcement. Please, if you have an iOS device, update to iOS 18 because they are playing nicely with RCS. So, I'm slowly got like most of my daughters to kind of click over. So you can if I send stuff to our group, stuff doesn't get pixelated. Videos are coming through better because it's pulling into MMS. I'm able to see read receipts. They can see if I'm typing or replying. So just if you have, green bubble and blue bubble and all that jazz in your life, it's like Blockbusters with Be Kind Rewind. We're going to go with Be Kind Upgrade. So make sure.
And make sure if you stayed on 17, go to the most recent version. If you're on 18, go to the most recent version because they've had some security issues. They've issued some quick updates. And I go to Forbes. They have a couple good writers that talk about, do you need to update? And they're pretty good about the whole, hold off. There's nothing really major on this. There's glitches or there's not glitches, but you may want to hold off to see. It's too early. They're pretty upfront about the whole concept. I'm saying way too many ums.
Yeah,
it's that first day back to school off of Thanksgiving, but with them, I usually check with them, and they said, the last couple updates have been security updates. I finally did go to 18, although my phone is not. It works great, but it will not handle the new AI. I'm bummed about that, but I'm gonna maybe hold off. I don't think I need AI on every device unless it does something really, really cool, like wash my truck.
Take care of all those good play spaces to avoid rust, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my daughter's upgraded, and the biggest complaint I got was, my settings button is so ugly now, Dad. It's all your fault. Like, the aesthetics of my wallpaper are not where they need to be, and but what's funny is because I didn't even know just with the Android updates, so you can change your wallpaper. And one of the new features on Samsung is you can use an AI wallpaper, and you can type in kind of what you want, and it'll give you a background. So that was, again, crazy needed. No, not necessarily, but it was just a nice little feature, going in. So now I have, my family's mad because it's not them currently, but it was just like a night sky, like a snowy night sky.
Northern Lights. In.
Yeah, almost like that. Even though those Northern Lights I missed because of conferences. Yeah. But I thought that was just kind of, again, is it a huge productive increase of my life? No, but it was just kind of a neat little, it's interesting. You can kind of put in, and I'm still a big fan. All of our thumbnail wallpapers are Microsoft Designer. And I mean, if you go to Midjourney, I think that's better, but there's nothing like using the free Microsoft Designer to be able to do your thing and have it create wallpapers and backgrounds and stuff. And all my wallpapers at school, my kids, I change them every week and just use a different AI generated Pennsylvania scene with snow all over, Pennsylvania scene in the fall, famous landmarks in Pennsylvania kind of a deal. So, but yes, upgrade. And so your phone doesn't have the AI. What phone do you have?
I have the 13, but it works great. And that was one of the things, because I laugh because it used to be this race every 2 years. Phones were cheaper, and it's okay. 2 years, let's update.
Mm-hmm.
Then they became rather expensive, and they last longer too, which is nice. But now they're getting you with. They put that carrot out there, like there's no stick, that the batteries aren't working, the phone's junk. They put the carrot, like, ooh, look, this is a big shiny carrot,
right?
And upgrade. But I'm gonna try. I think I'm at the point where I have enough AI on my computer and the tools on the web that I don't think I need it on my phone just yet.
Yeah, I've not delved into much of what iOS has as far as the AI goes. I mean, and you watch the commercials and they kind of filter you to whatever. I did think the Apple Mail being able to type something up and have it convert. Cause I'll do that. I'll type something up, go over to ChatGPT, paste it, just say, make this, sound, more coherent, more fluid, friendlier or whatever. I do that with parent emails all the time, or like if I'm sending out to the whole team, just to touch it up a little bit. And, so I don't know if that's, but again, if I was using iOS, I'd be using Outlook on it, kind of a deal. Cause it was school. Like I wouldn't even been using Apple Mail. So yeah, you might not, you might not miss it again. If the big thing now is filtering out what AI is useful, what AI isn't, cause then it's just gonna be time consuming, bouncing from here to there, just trying to get it to be fancier for the sake of being fancier. So
yeah, if you have the time, it's fun.
Sure.
I was making my own GIFs, and we have a running battle with some of the students. It's not GIF, it's GIF. I'm like, I thought it was GIF. It's GIF. From everything I've heard, it's GIF. It's not. I'm like, we'll agree to disagree. I was making my own, but then Giphy or Jiffy or whatever you want to call it, they have them made and they're free to use. So I go there because I don't always have time to make my own.
Sure.
Even though Canva is easy to use, and like you said, with Microsoft, the creator, the designer is phenomenal. I want to play with that, but I don't always have time for that. So it's like,
sure,
it would be great to do, but it's when I have time. Like just to do it is, you got to be a little. That is the ultimate. They say that's the ultimate equalizer. Really, everyone has 24 hours in their day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I heard so many teachers today in the hallway talk about, just give me more and more to do, but you don't increase the length of time I got to do it. So yeah, it's life. All that stuff added on top. So that's the big thing. Like, researching and figuring out how can I utilize these different features to help me be more productive. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Designing a review game or an activity for my students, or making a cool GIF for Schoology, I'm going to focus on the activity that's going to benefit the kids. Although the GIF is neat, and I run themes, and sometimes they're intentional, sometimes they're unintentional. Kids will be, you're running this really bizarre theme this week, and I look, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that this is like all like not all earnest, earnest GIFs or something like that.
I love it. Hey, Vern, it's Ernest. Yep. Yeah. I remember that growing up. Sure. All right. So speaking of helping to make things, be a little bit more productive and helping to kind of like curate some things and make it easier. So I was going to talk about good old Buffer. So if you've not had it before, but if you go to buffer.com, you can set up an account. This is a free account. So the limitation of free, like you can do a 14-day trial. The limitation of free is you're only allowed to post to 3 social media channels. So late at night when I'm doom scrolling, when you should be like, oh, devices should be off and the whole, turning off or going blue light, the whole deal. I'll be like laying in bed, like counting sheep, going through my feed reader with Feedly, as you mentioned earlier. And if I find something that's good, I'll share it to Buffer. And then in Buffer right now, they just connected Blue Sky. Mastodon was what, a lot of people jumped to. That's more of your tech nerdy-ish, but Mastodon, and then Twitter. But obviously, if you look here, the whole list, you got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, YouTube, TikTok. One day we'll get on the TikTok thing, But anyway, so if you have anything you want to send, but again, obviously videos would be TikTok, YouTube, Threads. It's still a fire hose. I struggle with Threads. I was using LinkedIn prior to Blue Sky being on there. And then, Instagram, Facebook, but so you get 3 for free. To me, I'm like, what? I'm good. And now if you wanted to switch up, you can disconnect one and add another one, right? You're not stuck. Mm-hmm. And then I'll send it in. And one thing I haven't been able to find, I did sit through, 2008, 2009. Microsoft actually came to Pete and C. It was actually, we were in a hotel at Camp Hill right across the way from Hershey. And there was a website they went to. And again, it doesn't exist anymore, but you used to be able to log in with your Twitter account and it would curate and it would determine when the best times were for you to post. So these times are still from way, 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 way back then. I'm just, because I have them written on something, a sticky note somewhere. And if you think about when you get most traction with the stuff you send, again, there's got to be something new out there. I've just not really taken time to really delve into it. So if I put something in, I'll say add to the queue. It'll fill in 946. Then it'll fill in 314. I can double it up. I can send it now. It'll just fill for the day. So I kind of like, even in the evening when I find stuff, I'll kick it in there. It won't get pushed out on socials till the next day, in the morning.
Yeah.
But again, if it's something I'm reading, I'm like, oh, this is kind of pertinent. Boom, I'll push it now. So when you go in and you send something there, so you can say like, a new post or idea, right? If I'm sending stuff, if I'm just doing a new post, click. All right. And then I can say, where do I want it to go to Blue Sky? I want to go to Mastodon. I want to go to Twitter. And then you could type in, let's see. Oop, what is that? Oh, I know. That's a stream key. I don't think that's needed. The PAECT Pod. All right, and now I got to double check and make sure that bit.ly is correct, because we don't want to send them anywhere really awkward.
Yeah, that could be bad. That happened once, but it wasn't my fault. I was so happy it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Hey, and I remember that correctly. And then I would say, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do at PAECT, at Keystones PA, hashtag PAECT learns, and hashtag KTI family. All right. So I have all of those in. All right. If I wanted to, I like that. If I want to drag and drop an image to put in there. All right. It says the link is too short for further shortening. Okay. Because obviously I used the bit.ly. All right. And then I could say you can use AI assistant. I can add. So let's go see what AI assistant adds. Okay. I can write more, rephrase, shorten. So let's say write more. What do you want to write about? Okay. So I'm not going to go any further with that, but you can add some stuff in, rephrase it. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going to click customize for each. And then boom. And then here's again, I can add it to the queue. I can share it now, share next, schedule. I'm just going to do share now, and it'll kick out. And it'll just give me a little notification. Great. All posts have been shared. So that immediately kicked out just in that short bit of time to, again, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Twitter. Yeah. So just, I can do it from right within the website. There's an app, or it connects to different things. Like I said, my number one is Feedly. I love, I got a lot of things that I read through there just to be able to kick stuff out, push it out. And even from Substacks, I could share and push out to it, kind of a deal as well. You could push out the buffer from Substacks. Yeah. So just a little something for you, again, trying to help your productivity and things of that nature. If you're wanting to share stuff out, because PLN, and sharing is very important, right?
I played with that a long time ago. I haven't used it in a while, but yeah, there is an app for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of things, Diigo, DIIGO, the social marketing site. Years ago, one of my friends, one of my colleagues, a good friend of mine, was like, "Hey, my wife's doing a presentation for, her district, and she saw me using that Diigo you showed me. Can you send me the link to it?" So sent the link to him. He forwarded the link to her. About 4:00, 5:00 that night, I get this mean text. There's certain times you can goof around. This wasn't one of them. I'm catching all kinds of flack at home. And I'm like, what's going on? That link you sent was to an inappropriate site. I'm like, I was doing something outside. I go in the house, check the link works. I said, what happened? He's like, she typed in, the address and a bikini top, which wasn't much of a bikini top, with this website's, this domain's, can be bought for whatever, popped up, and got a lot of laughs. And she was more embarrassed than, she wasn't in trouble, but everyone was laughing at her.
Right.
So her husband, my friend, got flack. He gave me flack. I'm like,
yeah,
click the link. The link works. So he asked her, he's like, did you click the link? She goes, no, I typed it in. She mistyped the address. I said, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
I said, but that's, things you got to worry about. Is the link appropriate?
Yeah. Well, wasn't that, was it the Barbie doll for Wicked or whatever. They just had that issue. Did we talk about that already? They had they had the wrong URL on there, and that went to a not so friendly site for families.
Well, back in the day, early days of the internet.
Oh yeah,
my old ed kids, they were doing reports, and I worked with them in the computer lab. And one of the kids typed in, back before Google was a thing, just typed in an abbreviation for World War II, and the screen flashed, and it went to an adult content site that had nothing to do with World War II, and the address in the URL was nothing, And I'm like, there's no way you typed that in, and that's what popped up in it. And they're like, I swear that's what I did. And the other kids were like, and they were honest. If they screwed up, like they would let you know.
Yeah.
And like that's what he typed in. So me and the other teacher said, okay, hold on. I log in. Just tell me what you typed. I typed key for key. Goes to a World War II website. Screen flashes, adult content. Hit the monitor, okay. And the kid's like, what if I make a typo? I said, no. I said, no more typos. I spent my, several pages of an email to the superintendent, the head of technology, the principal. Here's what happened. I said, it happened with the student. It happened on the teacher's computer, but we were just fact checking to make sure that, so we didn't believe the student if you typed this. And it was a long night of typing. Please don't fire me. We were just fact checking.
Well, so you're saying that my brain's going to, way back when there was phone books, but like one of the things they did, like put some websites in there. All right, hold on. Sports equipment. Didn't think a store name. All right.
That's a common one.
Yeah, that is. But there was it was like a white pages, and it had websites in it, and I think it was like a government one that was put in there. It didn't go to the U.S. government website. It was something like that. It was a .gov site, and it just got hijacked, and people bought it ahead of time. All sorts of stuff. Like even like a public service announcement for educators. Whenever a new social network comes out, create an account with your name. Mr. Salvucci, Dom Salvucci, D Salvucci. Like try to pull your different things in. Like I was just saying that to my daughter. Who's like we've talked before, she's doing the journalism. And I said, hey, she was like, oh, what do you want? I'm like, oh, it's Blue Sky. She goes, oh, okay. I've not heard of that. I go, well, you need to set up an account on it. She's like, what are you talking about, Dad? I'm like, if you're looking to go into journalism and somebody takes your name and does something with it, like, you need to do that. I remember a story would have been when Duck Dynasty first came out, and Sadie Robertson, when she was born, somebody went out and bought the URL, bought some social media handles, reached out to the family and said, hey, just so you know, you guys are on TV. These names are being said. I bought them, like parked them for you. And it was just like a huge wake up for that family to be like, you know what? We kind of got to protect our image, protect our name.
Yeah.
And I know, being the dorky dad that I am when my kids were all born, I created a Gmail account for all of my daughters and just first name dot last name. And I'll never forget, somewhere through senior year, Novely, my oldest, said, Dad, I am so thankful you did that. I'm like, okay, like, are you like punking me? Like, why? She goes, well, no, because I was asking a friend, we were doing work together, and I needed her email address, and it couldn't be her school email address. And she kind of gave me a sheepish look, and she's like, like Pretty Pony 36, or like, it's like something she made back in the day as a little kid. And she's like, I'm just so happy that mine is just boom, and it's not embarrassing. And listen, we could probably write a book if we asked everybody listening, and we talked to all of our friends this weekend at the board meeting. Share some embarrassing parent email addresses. I mean, we've seen, that might be a question we do ask, one of our little times of like lull, icebreaker.
Yeah.
Share some good ones. I've seen quite a few.
Sexy Mama XXX. It's a parent email. Trust me.
Yeah.
They started a question they asked about their kid.
My funny safer one is this one dad's email address was One Armed Bandit. I'm like, that's gonna be interesting. So he comes in for a conference, and he had his left arm was a nub, and I was like, I just looked at him. I said, I think that would explain the email address. And he's like, yeah, I got in an accident when I was a kid and they had to cut it off. And he goes, you can either lean into it, and just embrace it or not. He goes, so that's my email address. I'm like, all right, that makes sense, but there are some that you don't want to ask the parents why that's your email address, like the one you just shared. I would not venture that conversation in a conference.
No, that's just like,
not at all.
And the funny part was a student came up the one day and I was responding to an email and she's like, what my mom want? I'm like, that's an embarrassing email. I'm like, I'm not commenting. Like,
yeah.
But I did raise questions at home.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go into any PACT previews for the month, anything else to share off the Tech Notes list?
Yeah, I just came across this. I was doing like a little bit of Googling today because you said I was unplugged before. But Wix has, and this is interesting, I want to play with this, Wix tomorrow. It is an educational setup. So when I set it up, I want to try it out with my PACT email and play with it a bit. Then I'm going to roll it out to my students. You can create classes. You have sites. And as of course, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. It has courses. I haven't created any sites, but it has courses. Intro to Wix and the web. This is all free. Web creation, web design, intro to portfolios. And it has the curriculum guide for you. It has activities to do. So this is interesting. And I might, run some, because I use with my honors classes, we use EduBlogs.
Right.
But something like this, I can go in through their Gmail accounts, and it asks you have to be 13 or older. I teach high school covered. But you can go in and have kids start building digital portfolios and such. And it's a lot less, I think it will be a lot less work than me going in and typing everything in through EduBlogs and setting it up that way. So I'm going to play with this and see. And it has information for the kids. So even if you don't want to run it as a full class, if students have questions, you can direct them to, what does the web get to know the editor, adding video content. So it has the little mini lessons in there that you could direct the kids to. So it should make things a little bit easier, but we're going to play around with this and see. But I came across that today, and it was something that interests me because I've used Wix before. And back in the day, we used it as a free website, which you can't control the URL.
Yeah.
But you can make the free web content. And that's, there's a lot of those out there. But just another tool in the toolbox. And this has a little bit more to it than, just the basic. That has where the kids can go and find the answer. So I think this might be worth checking out.
I like it.
So that was my second.
Okay. All right. Anything else? I'm at the end of my scenario. So yeah.
That's pretty much it, except for this comment from Brendan. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Brendan.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
Even though he likes the cold, we still like Brendan.
That's right.
There won't be a cold shoulder.
And if there is one, it's directed towards him. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's kick off a little bit of PACT updates. Here we go.
Thanks.
All right. So forgot I swapped over to a different screen. Here we go. Let's see. What is going on in PACT? Like I said, this weekend, we got our board meeting kind of kicking off. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff being discussed. All right. October 9th, we've got Tech the Halls trivia. 49 people registered so far. I am not one of them at the current moment. We got,
I'm not one, but that's always a good time.
Yeah. For the 4th annual Tech the Halls trivia hosted by regional and coordinating directors. So prizes will be awarded. Ooh, buddy. All right. December 9th, 7 to 8:15 p.m. Tech the Halls. All right. Definitely a good one. All right. And then we got the 12 Days of Otis Goose Chase. All right. So, all right. Yeah, I didn't queue up the singing on that one. All right. So again, we kind of snuck this one on Blue Sky when we were showing it. You got your 12 days of Otis Goose Chase, December 12th through 24th. Join us for the 12 days of Otis, a festive scavenger hunt that unwraps Otis for educators. Explore daily challenges to boost your Otis knowledge and enhance your professional growth all year long. Free for all PACT members, prizes available to win, Act 48 credit available as well. So there's a bit.ly / all caps PACT, the number 12, and all caps DAYS days. So PACT 12 days. All right. And some more information there for you to check out. Jen Tony will be running this with our professional development crew. All right. All right. And then kicks us in. We got Ready to Launch book study kind of kicking off in January. So let's jump into our glide show. We've got an in-person event set up, meetup at IU 13. So this is in South Central. So location to be determined. The 12 days of Otis and the Tech the Halls. All right. So a possible December 10th in-person event. We'll have to check that out. And that kind of hits the end of what's happening.
Yeah.
PACT.
Check out PACT.org for details. We have the calendar at the bottom. There's events listed on there, and link to the glide show is there. So you check those out, and there's always something good going on. So it's well worth, a quick look. Doesn't take long. See what events are going on. There's a lot going on around the state, and it's nice. It's hard to keep up with things, but that's okay, because even if you're a premium member, a lot of this stuff's being linked and recorded for later use. Some of the other stuff, even if you only drop in for a little bit and you kind of lurk, it's well worth the time. They don't mind if that's what you do.
Yeah.
So
check out the Facebook page. Check out, Twitter, Blue Sky. All right. We're everywhere you need to be. Our Instagram. All right. Coming soon. TikTok. Don't have it quite up yet. But a lot of different things going on. So a lot of different ways. And also, again, the bit.ly / all caps PACTE and then vents. So PACT events, the PACTE are all capitalized, and then vents, again, kind of like being that aware of putting in the right URL. If you do not capitalize the proper letters in a bit.ly, we can't promise where you're going. Yeah.
And regional directors have accounts. All the regions have accounts. So check out, your North Central, South Central, Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, Southeast. They're doing all kinds of great work. They're promoting things along with just the regular, the main feed at PAECT. There goes that again. You have to just pause. The professional development has a feed. So there's a lot of feeds out there. But, going to PACT.org is the main way to find all these events.
That is true. All right, man, as we're winding down, just to keep it update, we're going to be looking at P&C highlights, talking about the keynotes, different things that are going on, what's going to be happening at P&C. We'll be sharing in the pod and on social media, because that's coming up in February. So always excited for that time of year. So, all right. Well, listen, man, I think
big pod news coming about P&C.
Yeah, man. Yep. A lot of big things going to be going on. So we'll have to be able to share about that as well. So a lot of good stuff. All right. Well, we're at about close to that hour mark. I think, we've kind of cranked some things out. I think it's a good show, and I think it's time to thank our sponsors. What do you think?
Yep. Yes, but before you do that, look, you tell we had no guests, no glasses.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's the thing? All right. No glasses. All right.
I didn't have to look smart because, no offense. You carried the intelligence for us tonight.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. All right. Appreciate that. Your check's in the mail. All right. Well, hey, we truly appreciate everybody who was able to attend live, and everybody who's listening while they're walking their dogs, hopefully staying warm in the cold.
Yes.
As a blast of Arctic air coming down. So as always, PACT, we are truly honored to be
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania
and
beyond.
Let's thank our sponsors.
PAECT would like to say thank you to all of our sponsors.
Venture sponsor, EduSpire, corporate council members, ClassLink, ClearTouch.
Thank you to our gold sponsors,
Howard Technology Solutions, and Teachers First.
We at PAECT truly appreciate your support. Thank you once again.